Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Hope you're doing well out there. This is episode 39, I believe. I've gotten up wrong a couple times in the past, but I think this is the 39th. Today we're going to look at an Aspen comic. I believe this is the first time we've done Aspen on this show, and this is another older comic. I'm sorry about that, but I have a stack of 2018 comics that I'm just kind of going through, and when I had my eye issues and I couldn't really read very well. So we're looking back in time on this one. I couldn't find a lot of information on this particular issue. As far as units shipped, I couldn't find anything at all. I think there was a volume 5 complete run of this series. This is the first of volume 5, but there is a volume 5 that came out somewhere around November of 2018. Like I said, I couldn't find any information on how many units shipped. I don't know if I was looking the wrong months, but I did my best. I went back and forth through a couple of years worth. Couldn't find anything. So I'm assuming the sales on this were very low. The actual character Iris has been around for about 12, 13 years now. And she's part of a group of assassins that were, well, they're assassins, but they're trained to be executive assistants and bodyguards as well. But they do assassin work as part of their jobs when someone needs to be taken out. But they're highly skilled. They were trained in China, and they all have, I think there's 4 of them, and they have flower names, all of them. This one happens to be Iris. I think there's a Rose. I can't think of the other ones now. Violet. And there's one other, and it's kind of drawing a blank on it, but I should have written it down. But they were in this company that would, I don't know what you'd say, hire them out like temps. But that company kind of folded, so she's kind of freelancing as a bodyguard / assistant and trying to get another job in the meantime. As you can see, this cover is, you can tell she's a woman, so that's good. That's the number one thing. You never really see her in this outfit or wielding 2 swords. Maybe she wields 2 swords, but not in this outfit in this comic. But she does have a fight scene, so at least that's true, and she is in it. It was written by Brian Northcutt, and the author is Donnie Tran. I can really get in here. Let me get in here real quick. You can see that's Aspen. They're celebrating their 15th anniversary. The company was started by Michael Turner, who was this fantastic artist that really knew how to draw the women. And I think I might be able to find, well, you can see he's got a legacy edition that came out, jam-packed 48-page tribute that came out in 2018, if you're lucky enough to pick that up. And this, I don't know if this is his drawing or not, but he draws kind of in this style. So very feminine, very athletic-looking females. And he had, like, Phantom was a big hit back in the late 90s. And unfortunately, he did pass away shortly after he had started this company. So others have picked it up and have moved forward with it. I think Peter Steingr, I can't think of his last name. He's now the president. Steinwald, something like that. So what we have the variant covers for this one. I've only seen this one. I also want to mention I was able to find a couple of reviews of this comic as well. One was by the King of Thunder. He seemed to really like it. I'm not familiar with his show at all. It's the first time I'd seen it on there. And the other one was my hero, actually. I was surprised to see he had done it, as Comics Matters, and he did his review back in 2018, and he liked it. So I was surprised because I thought it was okay. I thought Aspen always does at least like above average comics. The story to me was a little bit weak, but here we see Iris, and she's posing as a stewardess. She's just out there And they've got this guy here who's some kind of rock star, who's kind of a snot, and he's got a couple bodyguards with him. Well, there's a kidnapping attempt, and fortunately she's close by, and the two bodyguards get taken out. One's distracted and one's just knocked out with a dart. And so the guy shows up he wants to kidnap this rock star and then take him and then hold him for ransom and get millions of dollars from his manager. And Iris shows up, and for some reason she puts the bandana on to cover her face. It was around her neck before. And I'm not sure because she's out there, so I'm sure they got video cameras and everything. I don't know why she's hiding her face now. And she's older and a little bit slower, and she does get wounded in this fight, but she still is able to take down the assailant. And the rock star guy, he's just into himself mostly, but he's kind of a good character, kind of funny guy. But everybody's taking pictures of this fight and everything, and she's an instant sensation. So this new company called Magni, it's Magni Global, who specializes in security, wants to hire her. And this is just kind of a side story here where they introduce this rich guy that sees that video and wants to pay and hire Iris as to be his bodyguards. He's so impressed with her because of her old school technique. And unfortunately, she's not under Magni's under contract with Magni yet. So at first I was struggling with the art a little bit, and then I got to this page and I really liked this art. I mean, it was kind of stunning. Before that, I thought the figures looked a little stiff. If we go back, everybody's kind of just stiff and not really personality. I don't know if he was rushing or hadn't warmed up or what. But get to this page. That one's pretty good. That's a pretty good action shot there. But a lot of the stiffness started to go away a little bit. But anyway, this is the kind of the showstopper page. And she just talks about she's getting older. She's not as fast as she used to be. That before, when she'd get in a fight, no one really could touch her. And this time she got wounded by a kind of a amateur assassin, kidnapper, whatever you want. And she's just contemplating what's going on with her life. And in the meantime, she does get a call or a note from Magni Global that they want to talk to her about hiring her. And she goes ahead and sews up her own stitch, which is pretty badass. So she shows up and she meets the doctor, and he grabs her. I don't unintentionally grabs her accidentally right on her wound and reopens it, breaks the stitches. But he is able to fix it with his, because they got all these different science things going on at this Magni as well. They're not just bodyguards for hire, but they also have all this into weaponry and bioscience and all kinds of things. So he's got this special ray gun that he zaps her, and it automatically heals the wound. And so she's feeling much better. She's very impressed by that. Nothing too exciting. She seems not real emotional in this. I don't know if that's her typical character throughout all the years. I did read up on her backstory. Her backstory was quite interesting, about how she grew up at getting beat up and bullied, and she went to this academy and they made her into this great fighter and was able to protect herself, and she was smart and agile and strong, and but she's getting older, and she has to find her own work now. So there's we saw this reintroduction of Phantom coming up, and that's back in 2018, so I'm sure that run's all done. But so they're showing her giving her a tour of the place, and she's not really that impressed. They show her some of the experiments, the deep sea things that they've come up with, and she's getting more and more impressed. She's starting to see, oh, they've got a whole weapons um, arsenal there, and he shows her like even this fantastic tank that they've got. And if they hire, and if she's hired, she's got a choice of company cars like Porsches and Ferraris and whatnot. But here's another neat thing. She's asked to take a shot at a blouse, and this was the best line right here. You want me to kill a blouse? That was my favorite line in the whole thing, because they asked her to show it. And it just proves that this blouse is actually bulletproof from the technologies that they've come up with. So it's a pretty good story. It didn't get as far as I would have liked it to get. And it kind of ends with her being assigned this assistant who acts kind of dopey, but is actually a spy in herself, probably for another company, I'm assuming. I didn't read the second issue. I don't know if I run across it, I'll probably get it, but it was good. The story was good enough. It just didn't go as far into this plot as I would have liked it to. And I think part of it is because they have like this, they spend a lot of time on this secondary story that seems like it's more for kids. It's called Aspen Mascots. And I had no interest in reading this at all, and so I did not read it. But I think that Aspen does their best to put out a decent comic. I think they are I want to say a top 20, maybe 25 publisher. Their numbers aren't really huge, but I think they're in the top 20 still. But yeah, I would recommend this if you like assassins and ninjas and just kind of spies and things like that. It's not really a super deep story, but it does have some action, and I'm anticipating that in future issues, judging on her backstory, from the story that I had read about all the adventures she had on before and all the assassinations she took part in, it's going to be an exciting story coming up. So recommend on this. And that's it. That's what I got for today. So thank you for stopping by the Temple of Tomes. Subscribe if you like. I hope you do. Leave comments, please. I'll read everything, I promise you. And have a good day. Take care of everybody and be nice to everybody. That's the easiest way for a better place. Okay. So good night.